Hey everybody, it's Mike Langdon with Toasted Toes. Before we get started today, I wanted to show you how Toasted Toes work. Okay, this is a Toasted Toes shoe insert. Okay, this little guy will heat up without having to be plugged in, without having to be charged or anything like that. All that has to happen for this thing to warm up is for it to be in close proximity with a charging base station. Okay, so it'll be warm, not warm, warm, not warm. And you can take your Toasted Toes and put them in any shoe. So now, as long as it's in close proximity, it'll heat up. Pretty cool. So, what's the difference between this and regular heated shoes, you say? Okay. This is a traditional heating element. This particular one is 250 watts and built for a fish tank. The same thing for traditional heated shoes is being done just on a much smaller scale. The way this guy works is as long as this is plugged into the wall, electricity is passing through this. And depending on the amount of resistance, which is adjustable, that goes through this thing will get hotter or cooler. Okay? So you've got a really nice way to heat up your feet and keep them really warm. But the problem with the old-fashioned ones is it's got to be plugged into the wall, and you can't go more than 6 or 8 feet with this thing, stuck into your shoes. Toasted Toes works different. It works through induction heating. Okay? The way that works is there's a big copper wire that's in here, and you pass electricity through it, and it creates a small electromagnetic field. And your shoes themselves, and these insoles, there's going to be just little scraps and flakes of iron in here, okay? And it won't weigh much more. It's still flexible, still looks and feels like a normal shoe insole, but those little flakes of iron will heat up when they're in close contact with that electromagnetic field. Well, hey, Mike, that's crazy. That's, a wireless transfer of electricity. That doesn't exist. That's not true. Yes, it does. So here is an example of an existing technology that does the same thing. This is a Chinese Qi wireless charger that I use to charge my cell phone. So I've got the charger here. It's plugged into a USB port. I take my cell phone, I put it in close proximity, it beeps, and it starts to charging. Hey, wireless charging is in effect. I take it off, it stops charging. I can put something between it. Bear in mind, there's not much juice going through it, so it's a very small electromagnetic field. I put it back on. Hey, it still charges. Works like a charm. Okay? So, all that's happening in here to make this charge wirelessly is this, the base station is creating an electromagnetic field. And the backplate for my cell phone has got another set of wires in it and a couple little outputs here, and it allows me to wirelessly charge my cell phone. So if I can wirelessly charge my fancy computer cell phone, I can wirelessly heat up my shoes pretty easily. That's it. That's Toasty Toes in a nutshell. You got your insole that you keep inside of any shoe that you want, and you've got your base station that you keep plugged in, and when this guy is close to the base station, the shoe heats up. That's it. Easy, plain and simple. Thank you, Sarita. Now, for the product description, please. We showed this in the video earlier. These are induction heated shoes. There's 2 pieces, plugged in base pad, and then the shoe insoles. Okay? The base gets turned on, it creates a small magnetic field. The magnetic field interacts with the insoles heat up, and there's no physical contact between the base and the insole required. So, you've got a shoe with you can use any shoe, and you got your Toasted Toes insole, and the shoe heats up. It's that simple. You don't have to have the shoe plugged into the wall to get it to work. So imagine this. You've got a base station sitting at home in front of your computer. You've got a base station sitting at work in front of your computer. And you've got a base station sitting in your car in the floor mats. Okay? You wake up in the morning, you go to do a little business on your computer, and while you're doing that, you've got your shoes and your insoles on, your feet heat up. You get in your car is freezing cold. Pretty much as soon as you start your car up, your feet are going to be the first thing that warms up. And when you get to work, you can sit there with nice toasty feet all day. Easy, plain, and simple. Now, for the value proposition piece, people have been struggling to keep their feet warm since the beginning of time. I'm pretty sure that the first person that made moccasins or shoes in any way, shape, or form wasn't actually trying to protect their feet. They were just trying to, keep their feet warm. These are superior to other shoe heating products. The shoe doesn't need to be plugged in or charged. That insole is still flexible. There's no attached battery to it, nothing else. There's no extra weight, and they're comfortable to use. Unlike the chemical foot heaters. If you've ever seen the chemical foot heaters, they're just like a little bag. It looks like a little bag of activated charcoal. You throw them in your shoe, and they heat up. They work for about 10 hours, but it's like having a small bag of rocks in your shoe. It doesn't really work out that well. Moving on to the SWOT analysis piece. For the strengths, it's a superior product. I mean, this is better than anything else on the market for keeping your feet warm. There's a huge potential customer base out there. Think about all the different places where it gets colder. It gets cold in the winter. I mean, it gets cold in the winter here. Pretty much anywhere north of here is going to be a potential customer market. Weakness, there's many alternatives to this. There's traditional heated shoes. There are, you could call socks an alternative to this. The chemical heaters are another alternative. And there's other heated shoes out there, but they're only really popular in really cold places, further north than here. So, I mean, we're talking like Alaska, Maine, Canada, pretty popular up there. And I think the biggest weakness for this product is it's just plain hard to explain the difference between this and a traditionally electrical heated shoe, just because not that many people are familiar with induction heating. On the opportunity side, this caters to mobility. Unlike shoes where you have to have them plugged into the wall, you can wear your normal shoes and be completely mobile and be able to use the heated portion of it only when you're around a base station. Okay? The licensing opportunity for this is huge. In particular, I'm thinking about automobile manufacturers, motorcycle manufacturers. Imagine your luxury car brands being the first to offer induction heated pads in their floor mats built in. So you've got our Toasted Toes compatible shoes, you get into your car and instantly it heats up. I mean, there's a big licensing opportunity there. And other heated items. In particular, I'm thinking motorcycle gloves. Most motorcycle grips that are heated, you've got your motorcycle grip, and this heats up with some electrical wire in it, and it keeps your palms nice and toasty. Well, if you were to use the induction heated method from Toasted Toes, it would not only be able to keep your palm warm, but assuming you had a little bit of ferrous material throughout the glove, you could keep both the front and the back side of your glove heated and warmed. And I mean, if you think about it on a motorcycle, this is the part that's catching all the wind. And then on the thread side, this is really pretty easy to copy. You could copy this with some copper wire and some tin foil really cheaply and really dangerously, but you could do it. And there's potential damage to other electronic equipment. Now, imagine you've got, your Toasted Toes compatible floor mat in your car and you drop a cell phone on it. Well, depending on how high you have the settings turned up on that, you could potentially fry your cell phone. Or, God forbid, you had a pacemaker and you lied down on the thing. It's a potential, it's something that we have to warn people about, and it's still definitely a threat. At this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Chioma. Chioma?